Featuring top Southeast Asian teams, $1 million in prize money and over 20 hours of court action, the inaugural Axiata Cup is poised to become a new exciting annual event in the world badminton calendar, featuring men's teams from Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam and the Philippines. The championship is sanctioned by the Badminton Asian Confederation and the Badminton World Federation, with the event set to be widely covered by international media and will be broadcast around Southeast Asia and other countries as badminton fans from all over the region catch up on the exploits of their favorite heroes. Asian telecommunications giant Axiata Group have partnered with the Badminton Asia Conference and the Total Sports Asia Agency to create this brand new competition, and when prize money, event staging costs and promotion are taken into account, Axiata will be contributing around $2.5 million to make it the best ever.
The Axiata Cup is an exciting new badminton tournament that we've put together. It's very unique, and I'll talk about that in a second. But in terms of the tournament, we'll be kicking off on the 23rd of March. It will last for 4 weeks, and it's going to feature 8 teams from 6 countries across the region. Now let's talk about what's really unique about this. Firstly, from the prize money point of view, this is the world's richest badminton tournament. We're featuring a prize total of $1 million, and in terms of the team prizes, it will be the biggest in the world. So that's in terms of the prize money. In terms of the format, this is pretty unique as well. It's featuring a home and away format, which has never been done in badminton before. You find it in football, never in badminton. So we think that's going to be pretty exciting and unique. The third thing, which is an interesting twist to this, even though these are 6 countries around the region, teams are allowed to import 1 player and field 1 foreign player at any point in time. So we think, those elements will make this decidedly unique.
The whole idea actually comes from Axiata itself, because they see as one of their ambitions is actually to become a regional champion in Asia. One of the key things to look at is actually to see something that is relevant within the region. And of course, one of those things is actually sport. And in this case, when you look at where the presence of the in terms of sport activities that is the most popular in the region, I think badminton is in the top 3.
Total Sports Asia are the cup organizers and are no strangers to high-level sports events, especially in the badminton world.
The idea is for us to create the Axiata Cup this year and for it to become an annual event, moving forward, growing, potentially even into a league here in ASEAN where the top players of the world would come and play together with ASEAN stars, similar to the NBA in basketball. And we want fans to come down and support this event, give us their opinions, more so than any other event that's been created. The social media elements are important to us, participating in digital marketing, SMS quizzes and activities, and getting the feedback.
Well, this is a platform that will really showcase the best of badminton in this region. And as a Malaysian, even I feel very passionately about our Malaysian badminton, which is really at high standards right now. So it definitely is one of the important tournaments to showcase the best of our badminton players. And for Celcom being part of that, we're happy to be a part of history. It's the first time it's ever happening, and we hope that the tournament will become even bigger in years to come.
Obviously, within the ASEAN region, a tournament such as this is valuable to the competing nations and sets the stage for renewed rivalry between Malaysia and Indonesia themselves.
Maybe 1 year and then next year and next year can be better. But it's important now have a good and big prize money for tournament.
8 teams from 6 countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore and the Philippines will take part in 2 groups, with the home teams providing 2 squads each. Every team will consist of 6 to 8 players, as the coach may elect to replace singles and doubles players from day to day, with backup players available. Teams may also field up to 2 foreign parties each. This means that even lower-ranked teams can recruit the world's top talent to boost their chances against the biggest teams. This is how the groups look. Group K features Thailand and the Philippines joining the 2 home teams, while Group J includes Singapore and Vietnam.
Well, the reason why Malaysia and Indonesia have 2 teams each is clearly because of the number of top players in each of those countries. The idea is to provide 2 teams for these countries in order to make sure that we also have 8 participating teams, and then we're able to divide it into two preliminary groups. The idea also why we have foreign participation is to ensure that other teams are able to reach up to the level of Indonesia and Malaysia.
We start our look at the teams with Group J, Team Indonesia Garuda, who start as the co-favorites. 3 Olympic champions, Taufik Hidayat, Marcus Kido and Hendra Setiawan have been chosen, joined by SEA Games champion Simon Santoso, former Asian champion Sony Dwi Kunchuro, as well as the deadly doubles partnership of Bono Septano and Mohamed Ahsan. Taufik was the Olympic gold medalist in 2004 and took home the world title a year later. He has been Indonesia's #1 and only recently has been usurped by Simon, who won the SEA Games gold medal.
As far as I know, we will be represented by our national players. This will benefit us as this will allow us to gain more experience.
Certainly the Indonesian, the first team, the Garudas, if I'm not mistaken, they would certainly be a team to watch and certainly be a team to beat.
The Axiata Cup will use a 3-match format, including 2 singles and 1 doubles match per tie. The preliminary rounds of the Axiata Cup will be held in 2 countries simultaneously, Malaysia and Indonesia, with 4 teams in each group. The top teams, based on BWF's most recent ranking, will be seeded in each group to avoid a clash in the round-robin stage. The preliminary round-robin group matches will be played over 3 days, then the 2 top teams from each group will play crossover home and away games in the semi-finals.
We felt that it was a natural progression to bring the sport of badminton into home and away and creating multiple venues for a single competition. The idea is to move the sport forward and eventually perhaps look at a league format in Southeast Asia for badminton as well.
Sport tournament like badminton or soccer is quite popular in the country. So attraction in terms of playing by representing a country, I think is more appealing, at least in Jakarta or Indonesia in this case, because actually representing a country rather than individual, like in the format of Thomas Cup or Uber Cup, is actually you actually attract more attention than if you're typically doing like an Indonesian Open, yeah, because it's actually more individualistic. This is actually representing a country, so it's more, in some essence, it's also pride of the country.
Format is something that they would have to adapt to because it's no longer going to be a situation where it's just one game and that's about it. It's pretty much similar to the AFF Suzuki Cup in football, where it's 2-leg in semi-final and final. So it's the same thing. So just imagine the same thing, but it's on the court between badminton players. And that itself is going to be tricky because they've got no room to slack. They've got to be at their best at both matches, whether in KL or in Jakarta. So it's going to be interesting for the players as well and for the fans.
Malaysia's second squad, the Leopards, includes 5 current and former World Junior champions. Zulfadli Zulkifli, who created history in 2011 by becoming Malaysia's first singles World Junior champion, is joined by 2009 World Junior doubles champions Ao Yao Han, Chui Ka Ming and Teo Yi Yi, Nelson Hegwei Kiat. Even though they are relatively young, they will experience a fiery baptism when they compete in the team event. But you can bet Malaysia's Leopards will be too hot to handle for some of the teams in the competition.
My biggest hope to see in this Axiata Cup, and I mean the hopes for Malaysia as well, would be Zulfadli Zulkifli, he's World Junior Champion, Asian Junior Champion. It'd be a good time for him to step up and make his mark in the international stage.
Still to come on Powering Up for Axiata Cup, we see who Singapore are going to bring to fight for one of the biggest prize purses in badminton and check in with some of the big names who'll be making an appearance at the event. Next up on our team list is Singapore, backed by the flamboyant Chayot Triachat, Robin Gonansa, Ashton Chen and Derek Wong. The Lions are out to prove they're not in the cup just to make up the numbers. They have good pedigree in their squad, and while not all their players are massive stars, they believe they have what it takes when push comes to shove. They have a history of success in team events, which will give them hope when they take on some of the best players in the world. Vietnam's most successful singles player, Nguyen Thien Minh, will shoulder the burden of leading the team in the competition. The 29-year-old, who reached a career-high #5 in the world rankings in 2010, has the distinction of being one of the few players to have beaten world #1 Lee Chong-wei and Taufik Hidayat. Despite Tien Min's presence, Vietnam, who have opted to stick with only homegrown players, will certainly face a tough time in the tournament against top-class players.
I think my team just come and can enjoy and can learn something for the sparring with the good player. Then after that, my team can be the better.
Teams like Philippines are relatively unknown, that's true. But you have Thailand and you have Vietnam and you have Singapore, who all have good players, singles players in the top 20 bracket. I mean, for Vietnam, you have this Nguyen Tien Minh, is probably world #8 at the moment. She's quite a good player. So it's not that they won't do too well, but they will give the top teams like Malaysia and Indonesia a very tough fight.
The Malaysian first team, the Tigers, which includes world #1 Lee Chong-wei and former Asian champions Koo Kian Kiet, Tan Boon Hyong. The trio are by far Malaysia's most successful players of the modern era, with Chong-wei holding the world #1 ranking since 2008. Kian Kiet, Boon Hyong are also former world #1s in doubles, and they're joined by Hafiz Hashim, who himself is a former All-England champion. Youngsters Liu Darren and Arif also made the cut.
This is the first tournament, but in Europe they already started for a few years, so we are still new at it. So I think this is good to encourage more youngsters, like maybe from Malaysia or those small countries like Vietnam. I think this will encourage more to those people who play badminton.
Malaysia, for one, according to former legends Chia Soon Kit and Rashid Sidek, believe that strong home support and a talented crop of players should give them a needed edge in the tournament.
I think we are sending our strongest team in the first. I think we have two group, right? So I think they will fare very well. So I think the only rivalry from them will be the Indonesian top team.
Malaysia will be sending 2 teams. I feel that Team A is a stronger team with Lee Chong-wei, Koo Kian Kiet and Tan Boon Hyong. The second team is a backup team. So the second team is there more for exposure and to gain experience, while Team A's target is to win the tournament.
The hope is that with the richest prize purse on offer over 3 weeks of competition, the Axiata Cup will become a standard for ASEAN badminton over the next few years.
Total payout for the whole event is actually $1 million. And it's one of the biggest, not one of the biggest, it is the biggest in the world to date. And why we are doing it, obviously we want to make sure that this is a long-term commitment from Axiata to make sure that we can attract the most talented player in the region, and also actually some of the players that is outside the region to represent some of the country.
As a company, we believe badminton is under-sponsored. We don't believe that, in general, the prize money reflects how important the sport is to the region. So, as far as Axiata is concerned, this is just our contribution in terms of trying to take the sport to the next level.
We felt that it was important to have high prize money in this event in order to draw interest, especially in the Olympic year and Thomas Cup year, to make sure we secured the top stars from Southeast Asia as well as around the world.
In my opinion, this is something new in the sport of badminton, as it involves prize money that is very lucrative. I feel that this will encourage the players and teams from Asia to take part in this tournament.
First time this tournament is being held, and it starts off with such a huge prize money, and I think it will attract a lot of players, definitely.
Really big money.
I never think about the money because it's money for my country, not for me. I just enjoy and I try the best I can train with the good player.
The Cup itself offers a platform for much greater things.
This is a key part of our marketing strategy. It's a regional event which complements our group's footprint. If you look at badminton as a sport, clearly badminton is one of the biggest sports in Southeast Asia. So we think this is important both for Axiata as a company. This is the sport we want to sponsor and take to the next level. In terms of the operating companies as well, clearly their ability to monetize the content that we're producing to be able to use the IP that we've developed from the competition is going to be a very important part that they'll be able to leverage on.
What is also important is actually the commitment in getting the sport, developing the sport itself, right? So if Axiata, in this case, and Excel also, we are committed in getting badminton, which is one of the most popular sport in the country, we should be at least pushing this up to the level that actually not only that who is the winner, but also there's also actually developing talent within those two countries.
We're not done yet with powering up for Axiata Cup. Coming up, 3 more teams to check in with, plus a look at where all the action will be happening, so stay tuned. Indonesia's second team, Team Rajawali, features Tommy Sugiarto, whose father Icuk conquered the World Championships in 1983. Joining Tommy in the team are Dionysus Hayom Rumbaka, a talented youngster who many in Indonesia see as a future world champion, and Alvent Yulianto Chandra, whose partnership with Luluk Hadianto was once ranked #1 in the world. They are joined by youngsters Shesha Hiran Rushtavito, Angga Pratama, and Rian Agung Saputro.
At best, we can say they are in a transition stage, but when it comes to team events, Indonesia has always been strong, and we can't look down on that because even though we say that they are in a transition stage, the young players like Tommy and Dionysus and even Simon are much better than our second stringers, so they're strong actually.
Former world #4 and national icon Bunsak Ponsana has returned to help Thailand strive for glory at the Axiata Cup. He'll be hoping to emulate his form from 2004, where he was a beaten semi-finalist at the Athens Olympics. He's currently ranked #20 after his unfortunate run of injuries in 2011 and early this year. Joining Bunsak in the competition are double specialists Manipong Jongjit and Bodin Isara, ensuring Thailand will be the dark horses in the tournament.
They have a good player in the Thailand, like men double and 2 men single. I think it's enough for the Thailand team.
To the Philippines now, where the introduction of 2 guest players from Europe have dramatically increased their chances of pulling off an upset. They are the only team to have used this opportunity of all 8 competitors. Double specialist Matthias Boer, once ranked #1 in the men's doubles with Carsten Mogensen, will be one of the 2 foreign players representing the Philippines. The Dane will be joined by Germany's Mark Zwiebler, and they will play alongside the top Filipino Antonio Benjamin Gadi and 4 of his teammates. They may be the underdogs, but you write off the Filipinos at your own peril.
I was actually contacted by an old top player from Philippines, Kenevik Asuncion, which I know a little bit and talked when he was a top player. And he contacted me and asked me if it was possible for me to come to KL and play, and I accepted it. We have Mark Zwiebler in the team as well, a German guy.
Well, I'm gonna do my very, very best to make them proud and to win, that's all I can say. And promise, of course, I'm gonna fight for every rally, and I'm just looking forward to play with all the Filipino guys in my team. And I'm sure we're gonna be a good team with lots of fun and good spirit.
As we see, the Philippines have come back with Danish and German players, and I'm sure moving forward we'll see other participating countries come up with more foreign participation. The idea moving forward is to create a league, and obviously Indonesia and Malaysia would have multiple teams in that league, and the other countries also would be allowed to have foreign players. So we're starting now to inject this into the DNA of the Axiata Cup, and we feel that it will only make it more exciting.
We all know for a fact that some countries are not at par with the traditional countries, such as traditional badminton playing countries such as Malaysia and Indonesia. So it would be unfair to expect them to just rely on their local players, and for them to actually have import players, as we call it, it's good for the game. At the end of the day, the winner would definitely be the fans.
With such a unique format of play featuring 2 squads from the host countries in home and away matches, you can be sure that badminton fans won't be disappointed with the action and will witness the next chapter in some of the biggest rivalries in Southeast Asia, namely the ongoing battle for shuttle supremacy between Malaysia and Indonesia.
The 2 countries have always been good in terms of the performance within the region. I think maybe at this point of time, maybe Malaysia is slightly better in terms of what the type of player that they have. I know that for the fact they have the #1 player in the world there. But I think the Indonesian is also full with surprises. I think we have more depth in terms of the talent of player than Malaysia. That's maybe personal opinion. But then we have to see after the competition starts.
The interesting element, I guess, is certainly the cultural element. Cultures, language, the makeup of both societies is quite similar. So obviously the neighborhood rivalry will always be there. The fact that both countries consistently put out top champions will also ensure that the rivalry will continue into the future.
In Southeast Asia, I think the rivalry between Malaysia and Indonesia will continue. Not only in Thomas Cup, but now with this Axiata Cup.
We are competitor, but it's a sport. We must fair. We must have a sportive this tournament. Yeah.
The two venues chosen are well known on the badminton circuit and also the music circuit, having set the stage for a number of famous bands over the years. They are the Indoor Tennis Senayan in Jakarta that will house Group J of Indonesia Garuda, Malaysia Leopards, Vietnam and Singapore, while the Stadium Badminton Cheras in Kuala Lumpur will house Group K for the initial stage of the Cup, which will see Thailand, the Philippines, the Malaysia Tigers and Indonesia Rajawali. The tournament kicks off on the 23rd of March. There will be two venues, one in Malaysia and one in Indonesia for the group match qualifiers, with 4 teams in each group. After the group stage, the 2 top teams then play crossover home and away games in the semi-finals on March the 30th and April the 1st. The finals will be held in the same home and away format on April the 13th and 15th. Who are the players to look out for? Well, obviously Lee Chong-wei, the world #1 with 41 career titles to his name and 21 runner-up spots. But whether his recent injury in the All England Championships that caused him to retire in the final against his nemesis Lin Dan will affect his participation is yet to be seen. Though known as a doubles player primarily with 4 Super Series titles wins alongside his partner Carsten Mogensen, Denmark's Matthias Boe will also be a threat. While Team Indonesia will be looking to their veteran warrior Taufik Hidayat, having represented his country a combined 14 times in the Sudirman Cup, Thomas Cup and the Olympics, with 24 singles titles to add to that incredible run. For some, just being part of your national team within a format like the Axiata Cup levels out the playing field for the underdogs. For the fans, it's as simple as this.
I think it's a very good tournament, and then because it will be held in Jakarta and also in Cheras, Malaysia, I think.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. See Malaysia, Thailand, they're all in, even Indonesia.
I think Malaysia is going to win, and I hope they do their best. Yeah.
I will try to think that and hope that Indonesia will win. Yeah, come on, go Indonesia.
And with that, we wrap up our Powering Up for Axiata Cup show. But don't forget that we will be back with the event itself and all the news, results and action from both the host staging countries of Indonesia and Malaysia. The battle lines have all been drawn for the latest addition to the badminton calendar, and it looks like it's going to be a spectacle not to be missed for the fans in Asia and around the world who will be watching it live. For more info, you can of course log on to the official Axiata Cup website, and please follow us on Facebook or Twitter. See you then.